Nyongji Khenpo Tsudde Nyingmi Lineage Molam Khenpo Ngabje Da Bakar Dangan Sandu Yerma Do Tumba Tukji Chanla Kibshan Sar Kongla Simji Tamba Rinchinde Jibate Ikola Shangsar Shang Kongla Nubashi Chang Demder Devin Jone De La Jobson Good morning. Again, thank you for coming to the teachings, today's teachings, and I hope you are doing well. And we're going to continue the teachings on the Bodhisattva's Garland of Gems by the great Indian master Atisha, Atisha. And as always, before we start the teaching, take a moment and correct your motivation. It is very important. Usually, you know, when we say the opening prayers, at that time, you follow the prayer, think about the meaning of the prayer. At the same time, you are correcting your motivation. So I always remind you before we start the teaching or meditation, whatever first step is correcting your motivation. Why do we need correct our motivation? Why do we need to generate bodhichitta? It is because usually when you when we think of outwardly, we see that we are different, right? Different people, different. We are different from each other. We see that some of you live here in the United States, this great country. Some of you live in different country with all the riches and with a luxurious life. But wherever you live and whether you are what kind of person, whether you are young or old, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are a Buddhist or not, when you think, you know, outwardly and inwardly. So inwardly, it doesn't matter. When you think of inwardly, they said when you think outwardly, you will see, you will understand everything is different. But when you think of inwardly, deep down, all sentient beings have the same situation. That means we are suffer, we have confusion, we are uncertain, we are lonely, we are sick, we worry. So we all have these same situations, both sort of mentally and physically. When you really think of inwardly, deeply, there is a sorrow, there is a pain, there is anxiety, there is a anger, there is a jealousy, there is ignorance, etc., and etc. if you understand this situation, this truth, if you understand completely means not just like intellectually, but deeply realize this situation, then we recognize that we're not different from each other. Then you will recognize that it doesn't matter how far away you are. It doesn't matter in which country you are living. Inwardly, deep down, you are suffering from negative emotions, as I said, and you are unhappy with all this situation. So when you realize this situation, and when you examine that realization, then you are not just concerned about yourself, but you will deeply think about all beings, because you will see that if you think inwardly, not intellectually, then you will see that we all depend on each other, and we all have same situation. Then you will begin to think entirely differently if you realize this situation that we are facing, we are sharing. And then you will start to observe all the difficulties, all the problems that you're facing. Not just as a personal challenge or personal sort of difficulties, but you will recognize the whole entire world, and that others are experiencing this kind of challenges and difficulties and suffering too, you know. That's why, as Shantideva said, why don't we take care of sentient beings in the same way we take care of ourselves? Because when you investigate and think inwardly, think of inwardly, deeply, you will see these things. That's why he said, why don't we take care of the sentient beings, take care of others in the same way we take care of ourselves? I mean, this is difficult to do, but when you really think and really sort of generate bodhicitta, you will see that we are not different from each other. As I said many times, when you have this kind of realization and understanding, not just, I always said, not just as an intellectual understanding. Of course, you all know that we all have this kind of negative emotions and like that, like intellectually, when you think of intellectual understanding doesn't help. a little bit, but not much. But is deep sort of, is a deep experiential realization. As I said, if you really sort of deep down, like you think and deeply sort of experience that we all have this situation, same situation, then it gives you amazing strength, confidence, great love, compassion. So therefore, also a sense of responsibility to take care of each others. Oh, I want sort of happiness. I want a good life, but my happiness completely depends on others, depends on all sentient beings, depends on environment. So therefore, for my sort of happiness, I need to take care of these other things. Then you feel that you're not alone. Instead, you totally, deeply feel that you are not just one person, just a human being, but you deeply feel that you are part of all sentient beings. If you know how to develop this kind of generate bodhichitta or this kind of wisdom. So therefore, I always say, like, correcting your motivation. So this is how you correct in your motivation. If you have that kind of realization through the practice, generate bodhicitta, then whatever you do, like when you listen the teaching, when you are going to meditate, whatever you do, then you will really feel that all sentient beings, include yourself, not separate. Then you feel, as Buddha said, any harm to a sentient being is a great harm to me. Any benefit to a sentient being is benefit to me. Buddha said, I and sentient beings are equal in happiness and suffering, and we are not separate from each other. So through his sort of like realization of bodhicitta practice, it's not just a saying, it's just not words, but he or any meditator have this kind of realization, then it's really feel that. So I think it is very important to remember this in your daily life, because it helps you sort of, what do you call it, unite, not separate each other. If you think like, just to think of only like outwardly, then you create this terrible division and separation, like between religions, between countries, between people. Then result of that separation, as you know, then we create all sorts of problems. that's why before we do, not just today, before we do anything, correct in your motivation and thinking about bodhicitta, generate bodhicitta, a kind mind, love and compassion is very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand this situation. And then we become more and more selfish, arrogant. Then we create separation from each other because of the self-centered mind. We become more and more greedy, more and more unkind. And then also, of course, we feel very lonely. If you don't have a kind mind, don't generate bodhicitta, nobody wants be around you, then you feel very lonely. Then you create all these separations, then all this conflict, then we fight, then we angry, then everything is getting worse and worse. So this bodhicitta motivation gives us the best ability to develop a great connection to this world and to all sentient beings. So that's why I usually, sometimes I explain why do you need correct your motivation, but usually just say correct your motivation, but this is how you correct your motivation. This is how you know, most people don't have, if you don't have sort of genuine bodhicitta yet, that's okay, but try to think of inwardly, try to understand that all sentient beings have same situation, mentally, physically, emotionally. And then through that kind of realization, slowly you will understand the genuine bodhicitta. Then you really see you are the part of all sentient beings. Then you will not think me, I, myself is the most important. You never think that. So that's just how you correct your motivation, okay? In the last class, we talked about very important stanza, right? I hope you remember it, which was the root text, with mindfulness, awareness, and carefulness, always protect the doors of your senses. Again and again, 3 times, both day and night, examine the flow of your thoughts. That was the stanza for last class. And this is really a crucial point to remember and practice in daily life. Mindfulness, awareness, carefulness, this practice go with all kinds of, no matter what, worldly or spiritually, your actions, activities. So therefore, this is really crucial point to remember and practice instantly. So now today's stanza, if you have the text from Atisha, the Bodhisattva's Garland of Gems, is Dak nipa daksha shang yanjin terwa tsalmashat yanji yondan daksha shang dak yondan mawarsha. Review your own shortcomings, but do not seek out others' mistakes. Conceal your own good qualities, but proclaim those of others. So this is this verse is similar to the there is a stanza in the 8 verses of mind training. Do you remember? It says, "Count the Sudan Ropits, Daniel Kunli Manshasha." Yanla Samba Takpa and Chok the Ibran Show. So that means whenever I am in the company of others, may I regard myself as the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart, cherish others as a supreme. Kind of like similar, these stanzas. So this verse means whenever I will think constantly of benefiting others and treating others with respect. I will subdue my arrogance and hold others above me. So this is how bodhisattvas practice their bodhichitta. But, ordinary, selfish people bring sort of negative actions and unkind of actions. As a result of that, they're not happy. So selfish people always focus on all the mistakes, all the problems of others, and they're always criticizing others, and they don't see their own mistakes. They really don't. They really don't see their own mistakes because arrogant, selfish. So selfish people always putting themselves first and ignore and harm others. That's why practice bodhicitta is so important. The great Lobjong, the Kardamba master, Ndrom Tumba, probably you know, but Atisha's main disciple, he said, if you can see your own faults and not seek the faults in others, you are wise, even if you have no other good qualities. I mean, that is good qualities, but if you can see your own problems, your own faults, then you are a very wise person. So whether you are a religious person or not, whether you are a Buddhist or not, the important thing is that as long as you are a human being, you should be a good human being. But how? Not good human being means selfish, arrogant, unkind. That's unfortunately very natural. No, Atisha says here, review your own shortcomings, but do not seek out others' mistakes. Conceal your own good qualities, but proclaim those of others. So this verse is very beautiful and very important for Buddhist practitioners. If you're not, you may not like to practice this verse, but think carefully about the meaning of this verse. This is because otherwise you could become a selfish and arrogant person. So this practice can help us not become selfish and arrogant. That's the meaning of this verse. So you have to understand the problem, the faults of selfish and the defects of selfish and arrogant. If you don't want to become a selfish and arrogant person, then you will understand how important this stanza practice, this stanza is. But if you are selfish and arrogant person, you don't like this stanza for sure. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to practice it because you think this doesn't make any sense. So if you become a selfish person, that can create a great obstacle in your meditation as well as in your daily life. So in general, keep your good qualities hidden and remain completely humble. That basically this stanza is talking about. But not always like necessary, you know. If it would be inspiring for others, and if there is beneficial, if you told others about your good qualities, hey, I have this quality, I know this, I have this experience, I have this realization, I am a good person. If there is a beneficial, if you tell other people like that, then that's different situation. Then you don't have to hidden like your quality, good qualities. You can, if there is a beneficial, if your motivation is not selfish, then you don't have to your good qualities hidden and sort of because of your motivation. Maybe it's using your qualities to help others. So that's different situation. But usually it's not good idea to let others know that, oh, I'm a very good teacher. I am a very good person. I know this, I know that. You know, it's just kind of like acknowledgement, you know, in public. Is not good because always if you think of inwardly, then your motivation is not pure when you say this kind of things, if there is no beneficial. So this verse mainly teaches us that we need to observe our mind, observe our thoughts, and observe our actions, and to make sure that we will not sort of give in to feelings of arrogance towards any other sentient beings. That's what this stanza means. So if there is no beneficial, then it says conceal your own good qualities. Okay? I used to think that I mentioned this to you many, many times, but you know, those teachers who are like sitting in, golden throne and wear this beautiful clothes, majestic clothes, I used to think they were very caught up in the inwardly concerns, but that might not be true. For example, a fruit could be rotten on the outside, but perfectly ripe on the inside. So just a person could outwardly look like they are caught up in inwardly concerns, they're caught up in negative, things, but inwardly they are great practitioner. You could think of, many of you know a great Indian master, Shantadewa. Shantadewa, if you read his biography, Shantadewa is an example of this, People at that time in India, the Nalanda University, people thought that the Shantadewa was a lazy, very lazy monk. He always sleep and then eat. Looks like, outwardly, his appearance. Then he didn't study, he didn't help the university, he didn't teach other people. It's actually beautiful. You should read his biography. And then all those from Nalanda University, those monks, they did not like him. They gave him like lazy monk. But later recognized there's a long story, but I can make short. Then he was a realized being. So his external appearances didn't reveal his inner qualities. So therefore, he just hiding, right? He hide his good qualities. He doesn't want to show others, hey, I'm a realized person. I can, so that's why actually after that he wrote the Way of the Bodhisattva because of the monks at Nalanda. People don't like they think he's just lazy. He doesn't know anything. That's why he wrote Bodhisattva, Way of the Bodhisattva teaching. So therefore, that's why you have to sort of keep your good qualities inside. You don't have to, if there's no beneficial, you don't have to tell, because you create your selfish mind. So judging people sort of, at Nalanda's, they judge him, looks like he sleep all the time and then eat, that's all. But judging him on that sort of appearance would have been a big mistake, right? So in the case of teachers sitting on golden throne, it could be true that they are a great teacher, but it also could be true that they are caught up in wanting a good sort of reputation or whatever. So we can't, what I'm saying is we can't judge these things based only on their external appearances. We need to really investigate, and understand their inner qualities. That's always Bhatram, which he mentioned in the words of my perfect teacher. You have to investigate your teacher, but not out sort of the external appearances, but in what do you call it, inner qualities. You have to investigate. So that's why Bhatram said it takes even like 13, 12 years in order to find a teacher because inner qualities, especially like great teachers, they never tell you, I have this realization, I'm good about this. They never tell you that. So you have to investigate slowly over time in order to find your teacher, right? So then once you investigate like that, then you can easily distinguish who is great teacher and who is more sort of concerned with their reputation and kind of inwardly concern, the outwardly concern. So what I'm saying is that judging people only based on external appearance is totally wrong. I mean, we do, I mean, all over, you know, and this world, you know, people always judging, you know, based on external appearances, but that's not really the best way to investigate. So if you really want to follow a spiritual teacher, please investigate. Very, very important. Investigate the teacher, him or her, thoroughly, completely. Sometimes you see, you know, not sometimes, oftentimes you see like some teachers and, you know, the leaders are very arrogant and selfish. I mean, I can't say what their motivation is, but they might have a selfish, you know, like self-centered attitude. And very negative motivation of wanting to put themselves in a high position so that they're the best. They're the people love, you know, have power. I mean, that's the point, power. And give sort of power to bad people, so bad, create lots of problems. People can't have, selfish people can't have power. We have example. It's happening right now. These leaders, you know, propaganda, you know, they have so much power. So therefore, they harm not just one person, two people, not like that, like thousands of thousands, and they just destroy. You know, when you think about, you know, like who all the destroy this the whole world or change the whole world by, you know, bad people, not good people. Not good people have don't have that kind of power. Good people, maybe they can change their country or some here and there, but they can't like change the whole world. But bad people can change the whole world because we, the people, give those bad people so much power. So therefore, in my opinion, these leaders and teachers should be very humble, you know. Being humble doesn't mean that, oh, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not capable, I'm not that kind of person, I can't do anything. No, being humble means very compassionate and very gentle, very kind. Those of you, if you read the biography of Kanchin Chuang chapter, you can see what it means to be very humble and very simple. He's the best example. I mean, like I witnessed, you know, I saw on my eyes how he lived, how he think, how he helped others. So he continued to live a life of sort of humility and austerity. He lived in a small home with only enough room for his bed. He never kept anything for himself when people offered to him, but right away he took care of others. He never kept like the, people always, like hundreds of people every day want to see him and offer him all kinds of things, but he never kept for himself, always like took care of others. So if you want to read his biography, it's on our website, right? Also, when we think of like great master Pater Rinpoche, and as I said, Ndom the main disciple of Atisha, the Gardamba master, Ndom, they were 100% bodhisattvas. But outside, they were very ordinary. They did not even wear like this lama cloth, which means they did not want to show others that they were something kind of like special. But they helped so many people without showing sort of all these qualities on the outside. So they always practice privately and always keep humble, simple, gentle. So when you think of the Gardam masters, they were great bodhisattvas, but very humble. So the point here is we put too much significance on outward appearance rather than investigation through qualities. While we can judge others very quickly and harshly based on their appearance, we pay so little attention to our own mistakes. We always judge in other people external, based on their external appearances, and we don't kind of like investigate ourselves. We don't pay attention to our own mistakes. That's not good. This verse, I mean, according to the meaning of this verse, that's not good. Remember the Garden Master Geshe-la Tangpa said that to observe and examine your own mind in all kinds of activities. And Atisha says here, reveal your own shortcomings, but do not seek out others' mistakes. Conceal your own good qualities, but proclaim those of others. So memorize this text if you like, so that you will remember. So the meaning of this verse is constantly observe your three doors of body, speech, and mind, and be silent and be kind towards others. That basically, that is what this stanza means. Okay, so now I'm going to the next stanza. The verse is Nyitang kurta pangorhya, kedak tagda pangorhya, ndopa chonshan chokhidan, hipa tundazoverhya. Forsake gain and respect. At all times, relinquish profit and fame. Have a modest desire and be satisfied. And reciprocate kindness. Again, this is very important for practitioners, not for the not practitioners, right? So if you really want to practice Dharma, then think of, about this verse and practice this verse is very important. It helps us sort of unified our mind with Dharma. Do you know what is Dharma? Dharma is huge topic, but the meaning Dharma is just two things. One is learning, and the other is realization. That's Dharma. You learn, you realize. You learn yourself, you look inwardly, and then you generate bodhichitta. That's Dharma. So we need to understand the meaning, the true meaning of Dharma by examining the teachings and come to understand what is to be practiced, what is to be abandoned. As long as, according to this verse, as long as you are engaged in these things, such as, it says gain, reputation, perfect fame, and desire. As long as we are engaged in these things, then our mind becomes limited. Then that means your capacity will limit it. Basically, naturally, human beings' capacity is limitless, but as long as we are engaged in this kind of things, then our capacity will limited, our mind becomes limited. That's why it's important that the mind becomes with the Dharma. And understand the true meaning of Dharma. We can't use Dharma as a tool to accomplish our worldly purpose. But, when you think of this verse, stay away from worldly concern is very difficult for ordinary people, especially like worldly people. Find it's very difficult to see that happiness and freedom come from sort of renouncing this life. Worldly people don't recognize that, don't understand that, don't see that. Even like spiritual practitioners are very focused on trying to build their reputation, wealth, try to become famous, try to build all these kind of things, right? Of course, worldly people have no attention of keeping away from, desire, gain, attachment, respect, and fame, and so on and so forth. So all of these worldly concerns, when you investigate, they come from actually like our desire. That's why this we call this is desire realm, human beings. So all these worldly concerns come from the desire. When we see something, what is desire? How desire? When we see something beautiful, For example, when we see something beautiful, we want it, right? Such as a beautiful house, a beautiful car, beautiful man, beautiful woman, and so on and so. We want it. When we see it, we want it. So this is how our desire comes from. The sensation begins with seeing and contact. Then our thought comes along and says, how nice it would be if I had that object, this object, and then I would be very happy. So when your thought comes with its image, at that very moment, desire is born out of attachment. So that is how desire starts when you examine what is the nature of desire. Otherwise, people see like this verse, like keep simple and try to reduce your desire. And people don't understand that. Desire is very helpful. If I have a desire, then I have a motivation that I want to accomplish this in order to get that, right? So desire is good. But when you really investigate and examine what is the nature of desire, when you follow desire, because your mind is so distracted by the object of attachment, then if you follow desire, if you develop your desire more and more, then the result of that, unhappy. I mean, whether you're a Dharma practitioner or not, the wealth is not a problem. Don't misunderstand. The problem is having desire and attachment for wealth. Without desire and attachment, for example, for example, having a lot of money and material possessions can be great, but it's no big deal. It would be just as great to have a very leader. I always remember Nagarjuna said that satisfying worldly desire is pleasurable, but more pleasurable than that is not having desire and being completely free from it. So it's very true, but it's difficult to free from it. Therefore, you see, many of the great practitioners of the past, they choose to lead a very simple life at the beginning of their practice. Because when we investigate the nature of desire, attachment, we see whenever there is attachment to comfort, there is fear of losing it. Whenever there is attachment to respect, there's fear of being criticized, right? Whenever there is a attachment to receiving something, there's fear of not receiving them. Whenever there is this attachment to being famous, there is the fear of losing that, right? So it's very easy to understand some beautiful object to which we are attached. We have anxiety about it being lost. We are always afraid of becoming separate from this and that, right? That's the fundamental suffering. When we are full of needy desire, nothing can ever satisfy us permanently. As long as we are engaged in these emotions, then our mind and our brain, so to speak, is very limited. We totally believe that there is something inside us which is permanent and independent. And deep down inside of us, fundamentally, there's this image of the self, myself, right? It is out of a totally blind belief and habit. So therefore, it has no meaning at all, because when you go deeper and think about it and investigate it, you will see this conception of permanent self is not important at all, because it's not true. It's not, it doesn't exist anywhere if you investigate thoroughly. We have all the desires, attachment, anger, all of this, because we believe this permanent self. So through these verses, I practice these teachings. What is important is to understand who we really are, I think, and to understand deeply and to realize all of this situation that we are sharing, all of this impermanence, and completely understand we are not what we habitually think we are, or what we think we should be, which is this sort of blind belief about the image of the self that is permanent, that is independent, and leads to this ongoing grasping and eventual suffering. So we usually think that it's impossible to completely let go of this self. It appears to us to be permanent, and our mind sort of believes that it's always going to be this way, right? And we allow our mind to hold on to this view as true and exist. And when we totally believe this image of self is the essence of life, which is like a glue that holds all these ideas together. That is what we believe, and so-called life. So therefore we think the self, or me, or I, is very important. But when you investigate and deeply, inwardly, this is not important, because this is not who we are. One of the Garland masters said something like, look for ahead, generate a vast mind, don't allow yourself to become a blind believer, Say this again. Don't allow yourself to become a blind believer. Let your mind investigate everything and to find out the truth. That is what this garden master say. Because if we do that, if we look for ahead, not just like, just myself, little thing, and then we generate sort of this bodhichitta, great vast mind, and we should not allow ourselves to become a sort of a blind believer, and rather investigate everything and to find the truth. If we do that, we don't create the self-grasping. That's the self-grasping is the fundamental cause of suffering. And we will not allow our mind to create this ignorance, the blind believer. That is the root of samsara. And it's very important to remember everything is impermanent. So that's it. So this meaning of this verse is less desire and less attachment in our daily life, as much as possible. Investigate inwardly, deeply, what you want, who you are, to find out the truth, so that you are not creating sort of like this powerful self-grasping that causes everybody, all the whole this world suffering. That's basically, you know. And then the last line of this verse is reciprocate kindness. This is also important to remember, right? We need to show our appreciation for all the kindness that we have received and to be grateful. We appreciate the kindness. And if we can, this says reciprocate kindness, right? Okay, that's all for today. I'm going to stop here. So these two verses today is very, very important for Buddhist practitioner. So recite these verses again and again until you understand the meaning of the verses completely. Okay? But the first time when you recite this verse, you may not like it, but deeply, if you investigate yourself, investigate all sentient beings and the situations, you know, what is the cause of samsara? What is the cause of suffering? What is the nature of desire, the characteristic, where it comes from? What is the result of attachment? All of that you investigate, examine, very important. Then you read again and again, and then you never forget. And then remember, combined with the last class, we talked about the mindfulness, alertness, carefulness. With those kind of instruction, you combined today's the verses, the meaning of You think of the meaning of over again and again. The first you think, you investigate. And then second thing you contemplate on, And then lastly, you put into these instructions your daily life, your practice, your meditation. And then eventually you feel like you will kind of like dissolve into this whole world, meaning you don't feel that you are just a human being, but you completely feel that you are part of this whole world, so that you also feel that you are responsible to take care of everything. So that is the realization of the practice of these verses. If you don't have that kind of deep down sort of experiential realization, then everything is intellectual, and then that becomes just information. It doesn't help you to connect to each other and to this world. And if you're not connected to that and you don't understand the situation, then we don't never understand who we are. Okay, that's it. That's for today. And now we're going to practice and recite the prayer that we did last time, last class at the 37th stage, not the public teaching. So there is a prayer that I create for actually peace for the whole world. And especially the motivation was to recite and to practice this prayer is the current situation, the war between Ukraine and Russia. So I don't have to tell you this situation. You all know. And we need to help them as much as we can. I mean, people are dying every single day, right? Destroy the buildings, all of that, that's okay, but people are dying, killing every single day, innocent people. I remember yesterday, like they bombed to a children's hospital. The pregnant woman killed and injured, and lots of these children, killed. So that's really unfortunate. So they need help, but what we can do is, like, we can say these prayers based on your very pure motivation, as I talk about this morning at the class, mentioned. So that is how you recite this prayer, that kind of motivation. Then definitely, sooner or later, mentally, we can help them. And those also who already died, we can help them have a better life, have a peaceful. So therefore, please correct your motivation and generate bodhicitta as much as you can. Do not think about yourself at all. It has nothing to do with you. Oh, I recite this prayer so that please, especially like sometimes people think I have a good meditation or whatever, like realization. Not like that. It has nothing to do. Just don't involve with your selfish mind. Just completely dedicate, this prayer to not only there are lots of you know, people are suffering, you know, and sick, and so many things going on this year. So therefore, please recite this prayer as purely as much as you can, and then dedicate for all sentient beings. So maybe Colin, can you share the prayer on your screen so that we can follow and recite?
The prayer to Guru Rinpoche that spontaneously fulfills all wishes. Imaho, in Dewachen, blissful pure realm of the West, Amitabha's compassionate blessing was aroused, and he blessed his emanation Padmasambhava to come into this world to bring benefit to all beings. Compassionate one, you never cease to bring us help and well-being. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When faced by killers on all sides who threaten us with lethal weapons, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, the protection of your Vajra tent will cause killers to panic and weapons to be scattered. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When terrifying armies of oppression encircle us, menacing the great centers of the Dharma with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with your retinue of 8 classes of gods and demons, you will repel aggressors and their armies. Of this we have no doubt. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava, we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. When immense suffering engulfs the world and beings, turn it into happiness and peace, O Guru Rinpoche. When weapons of war threaten the whole face of the earth, turn back the armies that plunge this age into turmoil, O Guru Rinpoche. With the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. At this time, the eve of the final battle, when hordes of demons and Samaya breakers gather their legions, Padmasambhava, Supreme Lord of all Vidyadharas and Dakinis, pray don't shrink from your promise now the time has come. Devour the heart blood of the demons, Maras, and Samaya violators. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Glorious and terrifying Haruka, Padmasambhava, the time has come to suppress with the full force of the 3 worlds. Pray intensify the power of your adamantine great bliss. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. We human beings born at the time of the final battle are scared, Padmasambhava, Supreme Master of fearless crazy wisdom. The time to wipe out the enemies has come. Fiercely unsheath your sword, raise it high, use your weapon now. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Without ever leaving the wisdom mind Dharmakaya's great peace, you arise as real blood-drinking Haruka. Pray quell the fighting of this, the final battle, and restore peace to the world. To the lotus-born Guru Padmasambhava we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. We'll recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra 100 times. Om Hum Vajra Guru Pamasini Hum. Om Hum Vajra Guru Pamasini Hum. Om Hum Benzar 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 Guru Pamasini Hum. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Tham Siddhim, 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 Om Ahum Benzo Guru Tham Siddhim. Embodiment of all sources of refuge, Organ Rinpoche. To you we pray, with a yearning so strong it is hard to bear. Dispel all obstacles, outer, inner, and secret, into space, and grant your blessings so all our aims and wishes are fulfilled according to the Dharma. May I attain in each and every life the sublime virtues of existence and peace. May I pursue the flawless mindset of altruism, working for the welfare of others on a vast scale. Through this very merit of mine, may every single sentient being eliminate all forms of negativity and practice virtue forevermore. May supreme precious bodhichitta take birth where it has not arisen. Where it has arisen, may it never wane, but continue to grow forevermore. For as long as space exists, for as long as beings endure, until then, may I too remain to dispel the suffering of all beings. May I in all my lives, no matter where I am born, obtain the 7 qualities of the upper realms of existence. May I meet the Dharma immediately after taking birth and have the freedom to practice perfectly. May I please the sublime gurus and day and night dedicate myself to the Dharma. By realizing the Dharma and practicing its innermost essence, may I cross the ocean of conditioned existence in this very life. May I teach the sublime Dharma perfectly and never become weary and tired of benefiting others in samsara. By my own impartial and all-encompassing activities to benefit others, may all attain enlightenment together. Creed. In the divine mandala, where all that appears and exists is utterly pure, you, the sovereign of all the Buddha families and teacher of the tantras, secure and liberate the 3 gates into their Vajra nature. Vajra King, may you ever remain. Within the Vajra body, you reveal the mandala of the great bliss of the indestructible three secrets. Most supreme of all, Lord of the Vajra transmission, Vajra Master, may you remain for 100 eons. Through the effortless path, you directly reveal unchanging self-awareness, the basic space of great bliss. Caring for the profound key instructions of perfection, glorious Guru, may you remain until the end of existence. Practice successful to the Gurus of the three lineages, may you remain throughout the three times in Vajra form, forever hoisting the great banner of the Dharma of the three lineages throughout the three realms.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for coming and practice together. Spend time with me today, and wishing you all the best. And see you soon. That's all. Thank you very much.